What is the gender workplace hours gap?
Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever the channel may be finding you. Rayce Bannon here. Today's video, you are going to see a quintessential example of women performing mental gymnastics. Hemming and hawing and stammering over themselves. If there was an Olympic gold medal for mental gymnastics, these women would be a top contender. Remember to subscribe to the channel, knock that notification bell, and let's get right into today's Olympic event, the art of government workers practicing mental gymnastics.
The agency reports a workplace gender pay gap comparing male full-time employees and female full-time employees. But male full-time employees work longer hours on average than female full-time employees. And the agency doesn't account for this when reporting the workplace gender pay gap.
Did you hear that? Were you actively listening? The Workplace Gender Equality Agency left out the fact that men working full-time work more hours than a woman working full-time. Say he works an extra day a week. That's 4 extra days a month. That adds up over a year. I'm a product of a Detroit public school system, and I can even figure that's going to be close to 50 extra days of income over the course of a year. Why did they leave this fact out that if you work more hours, you're going to make more money?
Using ABS data on employee earnings and hours, the gender pay gap as at May.
He asked about the hours gap. Notice she completely ignores it and goes on with her talking points. This is the way disingenuous people with a hidden agenda, communicate when they're faced with the facts. It's active listening, guys, and you'll catch it almost all the time. My guess is she's not answering it directly because it's going to go down a rabbit hole and expose most of her myths, if not all of them.
2016 was 15.7%. It is a survey of employees, that information from the ABS. It's not a census. And it's only conducted every 2 years. They only collect the data every 2 years. What we do is we annualise our figure to full-time. So we look at all part-time employees and full-time employees that may have worked part of a 12-month period, and we annualise that data to take into account part-time hours. So therefore we're converting the part-time hours to full-time, if you like.
Many of these part-time workers are seasonal. Snowboard instructor, bartender at a resort, national park, retail center, someone working retail over Thanksgiving and Christmas in department stores, someone picking berries out in the field. The people who annualize these numbers, in my opinion, she's doing it to make the numbers fit, which goes to prove she's being disingenuous and she has a hidden agenda.
So do you take into account the fact that on average a male full-time employee works longer hours than a female full-time employee?
Boom. Busted like a deer in headlights. See that expression on her face? How dare he follow up with a question that I didn't want to answer before? Most people just let me get away with my nonsensical ramblings. Look at that expression. That is priceless.
Not directly, no.
You don't?
But we annualise the part-time hours and those that have worked full-time but for part of the year.
And that means nothing. The people at the Workplace Gender Equality Agency used fuzzy math to make numbers fit. And people who generally do that are very disingenuous, and they're trying to push a hidden agenda.
Okay, so if a woman was working fewer hours but earning the same rate per hour as a man doing the same job, would that show up as a gender pay gap?
Uh-oh, I got asked another tough question. These ladies do not seem very confident in their answers, And check out the woman to her left. Is she just another government worker playing along on her phone? La-di-da-di-da.
Well, then in that case, you are looking at hourly rates.
Janine Bruder, Research and Analytics Executive Manager. So we do not collect the real hours that an employee might have worked. So what we do collect is the hours that are specified in a contract, and that is provided by organisations to us. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I mean, do you annualise it on the assumption that men and women are working the same number of hours, or is it actual earnings?
It's actual earnings, and we are unable to. We don't have the data to distinguish or to then adjust for hours, because we cannot collect the real hours that employees are working.
So it's not possible to tell whether any or some of the gender pay gap is just simply attributable to a different number of hours worked. Is that right?
It depends on whether we're looking at hours that are in contract, or whether we're looking at hours that employees worked as, overtime.
Depends on how much they want to cook the books with this fuzzy math. Look at these women. They are doing mental gymnastics to avoid answering a simple question. Why do women want to work less hours? Do they want to go find themselves traveling for a year? Do they not want to work weekends? Do they not want to work national holidays? Do they want to stay home with their kids? Do they want to do brunch so they can have their weekends off? There are so many different variables to this question, and these women are not addressing it. But these are the type of people that will shove legislation down your throat because they have a hidden agenda.
Why is it you don't look at hours worked? You don't collect it, but the ABS does. It's available.
The ABS does a survey, yes.
Every 2 years.
Yes.
All right, did I hear that correctly? An agency of their own government, the ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics, does have that hourly breakdown. And these women are portraying they can't get that information when it's public knowledge. Would their myth be shattered with the facts if they had to look at that instead of this census?
But again, as I say, we collect census data. That is survey data.
So
we don't collect information on ours, Senator.
The ABS does, so it's available. So if we put in a question on notice, will you access the ABS data and so you can answer that question?
Well,
kudos to this senator for having the patience. He's pointed out yet again, the ABS, Australian Bureau of Statistics, have those numbers readily available for those women to obtain. All they have to do is ask. However, if they ask, their myth is going to be busted. So he's just asked again, and let's see how they respond.
Senator, I think at this stage, as I've said to you, we are unable to collect and analyse that data. There are other countries, of course, that do that, and we will...
Not even every 2 years with the ABS survey data? You could do it at least every 2 years.
And I gave you the figure of 15.7% based on the calculation that we last did.
What's the 15.7 reflect?
So what I was about to say, Senator, is I'm happy to take that question on notice and go back and look at that last calculation that we did and provide you with the workings on that.
Active listening skills combined with critical thinking. That's what I teach to help you live a better life. If you like this content, subscribe to the channel, knock the notification bell, leave me a comment or two down below, and until next time, I am Rayce Bannon, and I'm out.